Okay, welcome everybody to the every other Tuesday amazing ECMD experience, where we always have the top celebrities that a lot of people don't know about. I don't know why they be hiding up under these, places they don't know. I'm glad people like John Wilson's on here that know everybody, because these young people don't know. They just don't know. You can't help yourself. Doesn't matter. They just simply don't know. But we're going to make it easy for them and teach them the history of the music business and why it's important to know people that's over 30 years old, maybe even 50, 60, or 70 years old, like myself and Queen Karen and John. You never know. But anyway, tonight I want to welcome Tyrone Williamson, and I'm going to read his bio, as I like to do. And I'm going to play with some of these names he got down here. I'm going to make some comments on them, as I normally do, because this is a very small world. Can everybody hear me okay? Somebody say yes.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, Tyrone L. Williamson, CEO, promoter, artist manager, WKOOL radio owner, and entrepreneur. Perseverance, experience, and an ardent determination to be the best are just a few of the inherent qualities which have made Tyrone L. Williamson one of the best in the entertainment industry and most notable manager and promoter of concerts, theater, festivals, and other special events. Sounds impressive so far, doesn't it? A veteran of the entertainment industry for over 3 decades, Williamson's entrance into the world of concert promotions came in 1970 by the way of the legendary concert promoter Marvin Collins, founder of Marvin Collins Presents. Impressed with Williamson and his knowledge of music and style of promotions, Collins took Williamson under his wing, and as the old saying goes, the rest is history. With Collins as his mentor, Williamson went on to experience phenomenal success in the area of R&B, gospel, and jazz with the promotion of other shows, and only did Williamson go on to become one of the music's foremost promoters and managers. He became one of Arizona's most prominent promoters of music and managed for such artists as jazz legend Ronnie Laws, Michael Henderson, R&B, Ronnie Laws of jazz, Steve Arrington, who we all know, R&B, The Intruders, AJ Jamal, who I know, comedian from Cleveland, Ohio, Gail Johnson, jazz, Dee Brown, jazz, Diane Carter, R&B, Stubbs Girls, R&B, Amber Dirks, R&B, Epic 9-2, R&B, Soleil, jazz, Leslie McCurdy, actress, Larry Lee, R&B, Gwen Laster, jazz, Mo Jones, Zap Anthology, R&B, Classmates, jazz, Carter, jazz, Steady Hip Hop, and others. Okay, what's this long list we got coming up here that's not that bad? Now, in over 40 years as a concert promoter, Williamson resume lists the promotion of wide variety of genres and artists, including my favorite group of all time, the Isley Brothers, Angela Bofield, LL Cool J, Billy Paul, Freddie Jackson. Been rocking with him since Rockman at Night, 1975, I think it was, 85. Frankie Beverly and Mays, the Dales. Man, that's a good memory for me. Why? Because they came to my birthday party at Vales on the Circle one year. DeBarge, Michael Wolff, Lakeside, Midnight Star. Don't that sound familiar? Did we just have somebody on there that was involved with that group recently? Shirley Caesar, the original queen of our generation of gospel. Vanessa Bill Armstrong, Reginald Ballard, and the Intruders. That's the one that made Cowboys and Girls. Jennifer Holliday. And I'm telling you, Climax, Zap Band, More Bounce, Jazz and Pink, The Whispers, Cumbia Kings, Houdini, New Edition, Can You Stand the Rain, Crusaders, and Gundu Chandler, Chancellor. Johnny Britt that we interviewed. Keith Washington. Mike and Brenda Sutton. Michael Henderson. Mighty Clouds of Joy. Donnie McClurkin. Tommy Davidson. Mark Curry. Rose Royce. Martha Reeves. Barry Brewer. Fatback Band. Classmates. Phyllis Hyman. George Howard. Grandmaster Flash. Kool and the Gang. Roy Ayers. Marion Meadows. Gail Johnson. Tom Brown. Tyrone Davis. Gilberto Santa Rosa. Yolanda Adams. Richard Smallwood. Cheryl Underwood. Mark Jeffries. CeCe Peniston. Adina Howard. Regina Ballard. Al Hudson One-Way. Howard Hewitt. Shaka Khan. Ray Parker Jr. Heavy D. Slade. Sister Sledge. Paul Taylor. Gene Kern. Sonny Fortune. Rick James. SOS Band. Kirk Franklin. Vicky Winans. Arnez J. AJ Jamal. Queen Pugh. Cameo. Jay Lamont. Mo James. And many others, believe it or not. Many others. You heard that. Since 1979, Williamson has promoted several critical acclaimed national gospel stage plays and events. T.D. Jakes, Woman Thou Art Loose, and Megafest. Somebody ought to tell God, thank you. God trying to tell you something. If loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right. How to Love a Black Man. Ain't No Mountain High Enough in Hopeville featuring Kirk Franklin. Sickle Cell Anemia Benefit. Miss Black USA Pageant. Bob Marley Festival. National Association of Black Journalists Convention. UNCF Inaugural Celebrity Classic. National Guard Minority Supplier Development Council Convention. Lou Rawls Parade of the Stars and UNCF Telethon. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Celebration International Jazz Day and Colorado Black Arts Festival and R&B Hall of Fame. Place I hope to be this fall. And I bring to you the one and only Tyrone Williamson. Tyrone, how you doing? You have to unmute.
There we go. I said I'm doing fine. How about you?
Yeah, we just heard a lot about you. I'm almost scared to ask you any questions.
Hey, today is the time to bring it on, brother. I got a whole lot of answers for you.
Well, the thing I like to start with people is your childhood. Give us a little bit about growing up, were any of your people and your family into music? What got you to where you at, coming from a baby? Any brothers and sisters doing anything similar? Just tell us a little bit about your childhood.
Well, actually, born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. Graduated from Cooley High in Detroit. A lot of great musicians came out of Cooley High. Ricky Lawson went on to be the drummer for Michael Jackson, and Kerry Turman went on to be a bass player for Temptations, and Greg Moore went on to be with the Earth, Wind, and Fire. And, just a lot of great talent seemed to have came out of Cooley High during the time I was going to school there in the 70s, early 70s. But moving forward, my mother was in the entertainment industry. She grew up in singing with Aretha Franklin and Irma Franklin in the gospel arena. And they started their first single they did together in gospel. They were called the Franklin Singers. And I, didn't expect myself to get into the entertainment business. I just grew up, seeing my mom singing and seeing a lot of the Motown artists as a young kid, the Temptations, Four Tops, Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye, Supremes, and all of those. Basically, I would see them on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, downtown at the Fox Theater, where they would have the Motown Review. Barry Gordy would bring that show every Christmas Eve and Christmas Day for us to go and see all the great Motown artists, Gladys Knight, the Spinners, and all of them. I mean, everybody that you can think of that was signed with Motown, they would have 2 shows on Christmas Eve and 2 shows on Christmas Day. And you get to see a variety of all of them. And we used to go to the first show and then stay in the theater, hide in the theater so that we could see the second show. Because there was too many great artists on each show to where you didn't want to miss the second show. So that's how we were able to see both shows, is we would sneak and hide in Fox Theater until the second show. They started letting people in, and then we just get in and blend in with the people. I know they didn't have assigned seating like they do today. Back then, you just sat wherever you can get a seat. So growing up from there, you know, I left Detroit and moved out to Arizona in the mid 70s, and didn't realize that Arizona existed as far as music, because I grew up with Motown. So I expected every city to be familiar with Motown. And when I got to Phoenix, I realized they just didn't have the music. And so I started DJing just to introduce Phoenix to R&B music. They didn't know anything about groups like Switch and T Connection and Parliament Funkadelics and, you know, groups like that. They were only familiar with the Temptations, Four Tops. I think disco had came into play during that time. So, you know, they would play Donna Summers, Gloria Gaynor, and groups like Tramp, Tavares, those type of groups during that time. But they wouldn't play the funk music. The funk music, which you being from Ohio, you know, that's pretty much the birth of funk. Dayton and Columbus and all of those artists, Cameo, Lakeside. Well, actually, Cameo didn't come out of Ohio, but Lakeside, Confunction, Slave. Yeah, those were Ohio players.
Yeah.
A lot of those Zap, they came from the Ohio area, Midnight Star. And so I would start playing their music once they released their new singles and introduce them to Arizona. So by 79, I met who you read off, Marv Collins, who was a promoter originally from Philadelphia, who made his way to California, working for Celebrity Theater out in Anaheim, California. And then they transferred him to Phoenix for the Celebrity Theater in Phoenix. And me being a concert, well, at the time, I wasn't even a concert promoter. I was the DJ that everybody knew. And I met with Marvin, and I started promoting his concerts that he was bringing into the Celebrity Theater, because I knew all of the groups because I was playing all the songs. And eventually, to speed things up, he and I started working together, doing shows and doing promotions and bringing in groups. When I got with him, my first show with him was Confunction and Fatback Band. A lot of people don't even hear about Fatback Band anymore, but that was my very first concert in 1979 was Confunction and Fatback Band. And then it went on from there to Zap and Al Hudson One Way and T Connection, Tom Brown, Clear, Kool and the Gang, OJ's. It was just a lot, you know, that was happening during that time that Phoenix wasn't getting that until we started bringing it in to the Celebrity Theater. So that was the kickoff of my career in concert promoting. Then later on in the 80s, after Marvin retired, I continued on and I started switching over to jazz and gospel and comedy, which we wasn't doing those in Celebrity Theater when we were in there. We were just doing mainly old school, which, like I said, at the time, they were current. So I started doing, you know, jazz artists like Kenny G and George Howard and Ronnie Laws and Crusaders and jazz groups like that. And then what struck the management thing was Ronnie. I had done a couple of concerts with Ronnie Laws, and he called me one day and asked me, he said, I've been thinking about this. And I talked to my wife, Carmen, which was Ronnie Law's wife. She, God bless her soul, she passed a couple years ago. And he said, I was thinking about you being my manager. He said, I hadn't had a manager in a while, but I was telling my wife about you and how I liked you as a promoter and so forth. And he said, you don't have to give me an answer right now, but think about it and let me know if you'd be interested in being my manager. And I said, Ronnie, I ain't even got to think about it. Without a doubt, it'll be an honor to manage you. So that kind of kicked off my management career with legendary Ronnie Laws. And then, of course, it went on to different other artists, such as Steve Arrington. I had done a concert with Steve many years prior, and then I found out that, you know, he wasn't performing anymore after he had left Slave and did his own solo career. And I ran into somebody that knew him. Actually, it was his cousin. And she gave me his number, and I called just to say hi and asked him why hadn't he been out doing shows anymore. And he had told me that he had been in the church circuit as a drummer, and he just had gave it up. And I basically convinced him to come back out and started managing him to kick off, you know, a new career as Steve Arrington. And then from there, you know, it went on to Tony Strong and the Intruders and Stubbs Girls out of Detroit and Gail Johnson out of California and you know, a number of other ones. And now currently I'm managing a gentleman by the name of Lloyd G. Williams, who is known for the song Shout and Shamarama Ding Dong from the movie Animal House with John Belushi. In the movie, the actor that played the part, they called him Otis Day and the Knights. So Lloyd is known as Otis Day, even though his real name is Lloyd. So I manage him now, and Shirley Jones from the Jones Girls, who, you know, is very known from back in the day. You know, they are out of Detroit originally, and they had the hit song Nights Over Egypt, Children of the Night, Who's Gonna Love Somebody, Dance Turns to Romance. Matter of fact, Nights Over Egypt is currently being played in the new movie, The Clarence Book. It's a Black film. And in the movie, they have a scene where they play Nights Over Egypt and they dance to that song of ours by the Jones Girls and Shirley Jones. And we have a concert coming up at Apollo Theater next Saturday, matter of fact, the 22nd of March. Shirley will be performing there with D Nice, Chase, Rakim, Deborah Cox, Tracy Spencer, De La Soul, and I think a few others, but those are the ones I can remember off the top of my head that will all be there. I'll be there as well. And that's basically where I'm at today in doing artist management and concert promoting. I have a show this Saturday coming up in Tucson, Arizona. I'm doing a Luther Vandross experience. I have a gentleman by the name of Jazz that looks and sounds like Luther Vandross. And then following that, I have a show doing a Frankie Beverly experience with a gentleman named Lou out of Philadelphia. And I just stay busy, you know, trying to keep it alive. I had mentors back in the day other than Marv Collins. Ruth Bowen, who people may not know, she was the first African-American female booking agent in New York. And she did bookings for artists like Lola Falana, Sammy Davis Jr., Isley Brothers, and many other ones that were back during that time frame. And I actually met her through Aretha Franklin's brother, Cecil Franklin, who at the time was Aretha Franklin's manager. Her brother, Cecil, he introduced me to Ruth because I was, close with the whole Franklin family. My grandfather was the assistant pastor at New Bethel underneath Reverend Franklin, which was Aretha Franklin's dad there in Detroit. So, I had a lot of connections and resources in my younger years in the industry. So that's, pretty much some of the history with me. But Ruth took me under her wing. And then she later on became, after Cecil passed, Aretha asked her to become her manager, even though she had been her booking agent for years. And she took on the position of being Aretha's manager up until she retired. And then Aretha didn't never get another manager after Ruth passed. She retired, and then probably 2-3 years after Ruth retired, she passed. But she was one of my dear mentors, and I looked at her as like I'd say like my mother in the entertainment industry, because she was so well knowledge with so many major artists during those days. Al Heyman, I was back during the time Al Heyman started his career out in Los Angeles and wanted to move forward with doing shows across the country. And of course, I pretty much had Phoenix on lock, and he reached out and said, hey, I need you to help me promote some packages that I got, and I want to bring it into Phoenix. And that's how I met Al Heyman. And that's pretty much it on the short end of the stick.
Okay, well, I'm going to play with some of the names on your website. Then I'm going to go to Funky Skunk. You mentioned about funk music. I'm going to go to Funky Skunk. Then I'm also obviously going to go to John Wilson, who you already know.
Right.
And Michael J. Calhoun that may be able to speak later. He had a bad taco sandwich that got him sick as a dog right now. But he's on here. And that's all I ask for people. Just show up. You don't even have to show out. Just show up so I can recognize you. Okay, I'm going to go on this list where I mentioned about the groups when I was mentioning the people that you had in concert. Isley Brothers. Oh, my God. Yeah. Favorite group of all time. Got a chance to interview Ronald and Ernie Isley a couple of years ago on the DigiWax call. And I mentioned to them that you can ask him that part when I get to you. I mentioned that to them that I had a ring for their record called Eternal that came out in 2001. And also, had promoted heavy with the, Eternal and Body Kiss. And that was 2003. But anyway, and I got a lot of trouble for this stuff with the music Illuminati, but we won't touch that too heavy. But I want to mention, that name that you mentioned. You mentioned about sneaking in theaters. It was like I think we all did that some kind of way. I remember a Temptation sold out show at the Front Row Theater in Cleveland. That, you couldn't get in there. And the thing that people didn't realize is that a certain group of people buy their tickets in advance. And the neighborhood guys thinking they can go to the door and buy a ticket. No, you can't. It was sold out within hours when it was put up there. But anyway, I had a friend that worked there, so I would always be able to get in. And like you say, be at the first show. Then I just go backstage, doing between the first and second show, and just see the other one. And that was just interesting, to have that type of influence, like what you're saying there.
Well, imagine being on the show with the Temptations and singing with them and being embarrassed by them. I'll give you a quick true story. They were opening up for Lou Rawls, and they normally on My Girl, they would bring somebody out of the audience to come up on stage and sing with them during the show. Well, this particular theater, it was too difficult for the person to come out, I guess, and go through the door, up the steps, and around onto the stage. I had no idea that this was going to happen. I'm standing on the stage in between the curtains where the audience couldn't see me, but I could stand there and watch their performance. And Ollie Woodson, who was a dear friend of mine during the time he was singing with Temptations, he starts telling the audience about, like we always do, ladies and gentlemen, we normally bring somebody up on the stage to sing this song with us out of the audience, but we're going to do something a little different tonight. He said, we're going to find somebody that we can have come and sing with us. And he comes walking towards me, and I thought he was going to go past me because somebody might have been behind me that he was going to get and have them come out. He grabs me by the arm and starts pulling me out past the curtain because I didn't want to go out there. I was like, you got to be crazy. You think, because I can't sing. You know, I don't claim to be a singer. And he caused me to have to walk out there in front of this packed audience to sing My Girl with the Temptations. Now, when he gave me the mic to ask me the question, do you think you could sing this song with the legendary Temptation? I replied back in a singing tone and said, yes, I can sing this song. And I hit the notes with a perfect pitch on the response. I could hear the whole audience. They were just clapping and cheering and screaming because they thought I was getting ready to tear the place down. The point was, I don't know how it happened. I just got lucky. So he said, okay, ladies, it looked like we got a singer in the house tonight. So Temps, we're going to go ahead and get this show on the road. Let's go ahead and do My Girl. They started singing it. And he said, when I get to your part, I'm going to turn it over to you. He gets to the part, and it was I got sunshine on a cloudy day with My Girl. And that's where I was coming in. Man, when it got to my part and I started singing that, my voice was cracking so bad that everybody in the place was cracking up laughing. At the intermission, after the show, I came out into the lobby. I saw people that knew me and they were talking. They go, man, I didn't know you could sing. I said, what are you talking about? They said, I saw you on stage singing, My Girl with the Temptations. I said, I can't sing. They said, oh, we know that was planned and staged, and it wasn't. So they thought I could sing, but the funny part where I was cracking so bad and couldn't hit a note, they thought that was planned. So that's a true story.
That sounds like a disastrous true story.
It was a disaster. I was so embarrassed until I realized people thought I really could sing and that the whole thing was staged. And it really was.
Well, obviously, all of us know Al Heyman. He's from Cleveland.
Yes.
Matter of fact, Bobby Heyman, we used to do a lot of stuff. His brother used to help do some stuff. And that's the one that we knew more so than Al. But Bobby's the one that would get us into the venues and stuff normally.
Right.
And so, that name, I see you have on Aretha Franklin.
Well, you see, I got the T-shirt on.
Yeah, with you and her.
Me and her together.
Right. And the thing about Aretha that's interesting to me is that when I was in high school, my brother went to Kent State University, and they had Aretha Franklin perform at the Kent State University gym. And her opening act was a brand new group called the Spinners. And they sang all of their hits that was on whatever the label was at the time, the 4 major hits that all probably went #1 or something. And it was like amazing to be there as a kid in high school to see Aretha, and her song Until You Come Back to Me is still one of my favorite songs to this day.
Wow. Yeah.
And Queen Karen, that's on here from DC, is one of her favorite songs as well. And my other favorite song by somebody older is If You Think You're Lonely Now, Wait Until Tonight by, the person that's from Cleveland as well. So that, but yeah, the reason I mentioned about Aretha, because we did a project on her father back in not too long ago, and there was material that was re-released that was He had been away from us for 30 years, and the music was like 40 years old, and it was a big
Mm-hmm.
controversy because it went to #1 on Billboard. We can have that private conversation later. But I want to mention that since you have an Aretha T-shirt, you mentioned about One Way. I went to their manager's funeral in Detroit, and if you were there or know about it, at the repast or whatever at his house, when they left, they tore his line up, driving over the grass and stuff. Not intentionally, but just with so many people there, and people couldn't get out the driveway easily, so they just drove through the grass, and it just looked horrible. But yeah, man, One Way, we were kind of close with them back
Well,
in that
Al
time.
Hudson, he was the leader of One Way and had a hell of a voice. And what people who may not know a lot of the history of these groups is that the group was named Al Hudson in One Way.
Right.
It was just later on they just dropped the Al Hudson off the title and just called it One Way. But he never left the group. He was always still with the group, even though they dropped the Al Hudson and just called it One Way. But it's Al Hudson who sung, majority of those, especially the love songs. Golly, he has some really, really good love songs off of One Way albums.
Right. And last on my personal list, you mentioned Kool and the Gang. Of course, we have Michael J. Calhoun here, who's a co-founder of the Daz Band, at the song Let It Whip. He actually discovered Skip Martin. That
was with Daz. Band.
Yeah, but he actually, Skip was either like from Youngstown area, or whatever. Went there to the show, saw him or whatever. He went there with the manager of the group, Sonny Jones. Came across Skip Martin. He ended up being in the Daz Band. Of course, he went to Kool and the Gang and all of that. So that's we got somebody right here on this call night that has something to do with some great things.
Well, Calhoun is his brother Ray Calhoun.
No, Ray's not my brother, but my cousin.
Because I know Ray. Ray's the drummer now with Daz, right?
Yeah.
He used to be with Gap Band. I'm managing right now Dorian Paul Williams, who used to be with Gap Band. He's in Houston, out of Houston, but Ray, I knew from back in the day with Gap Band. Now he told me he's with Daz Band.
Okay, let me run through these other names right quick before we get to Paul Funky Skunk and John Sly Wilson and Mike Calhoun before he croaks out tonight. Because I'm glad he's on here. I know he told me
I'm not croaking, man. I'm not croaking.
No, I just say croak out for the night, not permanently. But anyway,
good.
On here, other names like I said, LL Cool J. I mean, we all know LL Cool J. A lot of amazing things he's done. Freddie Jackson, like I said, dealing with him since Rock Midnight till still to this day. If he has something out, I would probably do it. Frankie Beverly Mays, but I'll never forget a concert I went to. Sitting in the second row, dead center with this young lady. She cried the whole concert.
Wow!
Listen to this man sing, and that was something I would never forget, to sit there and watch that. Of course, everybody knows the bar, just Switch and all of that. Yeah. Lakeside, Midnight Star, all that stuff from Ohio. Just looking at the Intruders, Is that the one that had Cowboys and Girls?
Cowboys and Girls united together, and Always Love My Mama.
Right, like I said, that's one of my favorite songs too. Always Love My Mama, Rest in Heaven. Jennifer Holliday, I mean, of course, her climax.
Jennifer, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but Jennifer Holliday, I did her a show with her at the Miss Black USA pageant in DC, and I hadn't seen her since then. But I was at Aretha's funeral, and she was there, so I got a chance to reunite with Jennifer Holliday.
Speaking of things I didn't mention, you did the after party for the Steelers Super Bowl party.
Yes.
Back for Super Bowl. What is this?
I can't recall what Super Bowl it was.
I think it's a Super Bowl 63. I'm looking at the Roman numerals. I think I got it right.
Okay. Yeah, that was when the Steelers played against Arizona Cardinals and won. Yeah.
Right. It's not 63 though, but my brain ain't working today that well. But anyway,
so we got Tampa, Florida.
Climax, Zap Band, who was a huge thing. I actually MC the Roger Troutman and Zap Band show in 1983 when they did a little tour in Ohio. I was the MC. So that was a great memory.
Does everybody know the story behind the loss of Roger?
Yeah, with his brother shooting him. Yeah.
Yeah, Roger was going to leave Zap and pursue a solo business and career doing a lot of sound with the what do you call it, the voice box, the voice box vocoder. Yeah, with a lot of the hip hop. He wanted to tie in with that young new group of youngsters that were doing the hip hop like he did.
California Love. California Love.
And that's what made him want to leave. And his older brother, they got in a big argument at the recording studio there in Ohio, and the brother shot him and killed him.
The brother that was a drummer was like the leader of the group.
No, that's Lester Troutman.
Yeah, I think he was the one collecting the money, right? When you had him doing shows.
Harry was a percussionist.
Yeah.
Okay. So then we had so we got the Zap Band. You mentioned like the Whispers, of course we all know them.
Yeah.
You know, Houdini. You know, just the list is just crazy. New Edition. I was at the
New Edition when they was first coming out, when they were like 17, 18 years old. They came out with Candy Girl.
I was at the Candy Girl thing in Cleveland, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
I was the only person backstage with me and my niece, the only people backstage, and it was Ricky asked her, you know, you gonna give me those glasses, like as if, you know, like every woman want to give him whatever. She's like, what you gonna give me? I'll never forget that. And that was like I said, when Candy Girl was out. Yeah. But and I went to Louisville, Kentucky when they had when all of them performed, including Bobby Brown, a long time ago. And I got there. I drove from Cleveland to Louisville, and I wanted to go to my hotel and get changed. And Andre Morgan, the guy that, you know, got me there, you know, one of my mentors, he said, no, you got to take your photo right now. And I'm like, man, I'm sitting up here with a damn Shell SU 2000 cap on that I, you know, had in a jogging suit. I was traveling and looked horrible, but I took that picture with all of them in there, and that's like probably one of the few people that got a photo with all of them since when they first started.
I'm getting ready to show you a picture of them back then. See if you can see that. Can you see that?
Yep.
That's when they were young. That's when I did them in concert.
Okay. You're the man, as we say, and you're still the man.
Lift it up.
You want it upward?
Lift it up. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
Can you mention the
Yeah.
Can you see it?
Yeah, that's great.
You know, Crusaders. I mean, that's a hell of a name in the jazz industry.
Yeah, Wayne Henderson from Crusaders, and they were a phenomenal jazz group. They used to be called the Jazz Crusaders, and then they dropped off the jazz part and just Crusaders.
Then Johnny Britt, we interviewed him like we did. You had an amazing interview with him. You know,
who was
John
that?
And everybody was talking with him. You know,
Johnny Britt.
Johnny Britt.
Oh, Johnny Britt.
Yeah, and
I helped produce his video on You Sure Love the Ball. You'll see me in that video.
Johnny Britt. I first
told You Sure Love the Ball, a Marvin Gaye remake that Johnny did, and I did the video for him.
And then, of course, Michael Henderson. I'm gonna get to you, John. I'm gonna get to you and everybody. I'm gonna have y'all share all the names like I'm doing.
History. Yeah. And what'd you say about Michael Henderson?
Yeah, Michael Henderson, like I'm saying, you know, with him, with, you know, the songs that he did, you know, back at that time were some amazing songs.
You Are My Starship, Be My Girl in the Nighttime with Roberta Flatt, Valentine Love.
Yeah. Rolls Royce, you know, with Car Wash and all the stuff they did.
Yeah. Kenny is the leader.
I think that was him. Martha Reeves, I'll tell you about my experience with Martha Reeves and the Vandellas back in the day. The Martha Reeves kissed me on my cheek when she performed in Cleveland when I was like about 9 years old at the Big Five show and the Upbeat show or whatever, and on 36 in Euclid, Cleveland, Ohio, at ABC Studios.
Well, a lot of people may not know, but she was one of the receptionist or secretary for Motown before she even got the opportunity to record with Motown. She told me the story as to how she was able to get a contract with Berry Gordy.
She must be the one that interviewed me when Michael Calhoun and I was up there with John at the R&B Hall of Fame that was in Detroit that year.
Right.
Yeah, that was her. Yeah.
Yeah, she interviewed me on a radio station, a live radio station. I'm like, wow, can I get a copy of that? She said, no, we just go live. I'm like, oh man, you did this nice interview on me, and
Oh, Martha's something else. You got to know Martha to know how to talk to Martha. She's something else.
Yeah. Then you mentioned Fatback Band. I hadn't heard that name in a while. Fatback Band.
Oh yeah.
Phyllis Hyman, of course. She was amazing.
She was a dear sweetheart. Michael Henderson introduced her to me, or me to her.
Yeah.
And me and her became friends throughout all the years up until she passed.
Yeah. Grandmaster Flash, man, Jungle Sometime and all that stuff they had back then.
White Lines and
Roy Ayers, rest in heaven.
Oh
recently.
man. I called Roy probably 2 months ago to check on him, and his daughter answered the phone, and I was telling her I was just checking to see how he was doing. And she said, he's doing okay, but I could tell from her voice he wasn't doing that great. And I just told her, to have him call me if he feels up to it. But not Michael, but Roy and I go back to the 70s. Yeah.
Wow.
I was the only promoter to bring him every time I had him come to Phoenix. I was the only promoter to bring him to Phoenix throughout the years. I did him and Gene Carn together a couple of times, and then another time in Las Vegas with him and Michael Henderson. I think Angela Bofield was on that show, and Billy Paul. Yeah. Billy was another great one. Really, really, really nice guy. We've lost so many, though. I mean, look at what we just lost. Angie Stone and Roy and Dwayne Wiggins and Jerry Butler, Roberta Flatt. I mean, these are legends in the music. These youngsters, they don't have a clue of where it all originated and the talent that came out of just singing on the streets back in the day.
I'm gonna tell you somebody who's not only amazing, but either they themselves or they have a wonderful team is Cheryl Underwood. I noticed on her, she has I'm gonna tell you right now, she has as I said, the number 1.4 million followers on Twitter, on X, and she follows me. And I noticed that she's one of the people that she follows. She has 1.4 million followers, and she's following 1.3 million. The reason why that's important, because most people want to have 1 million followers, they want to follow 300 people or 150 people, all of that. So to me, that's what sets her aside from anybody else that's famous, is that she really understands having a fan. Oh, you follow me? Oh, I'm gonna follow you back. It's not that she have to, communicate with you or whatever, but I guess, that's smart. Either she doing it herself or her team or whatever. I just think that's amazing that she does that.
I did a show with her in Chattanooga, Tennessee, along with Arnaz J and a couple other comedians that opened up for them. And I won't even go into the story when it comes to Cheryl Underwood and I, but I'm glad to see her progress from then to where she's become now, especially, when she was on The View, and, she's built a really great career for herself, considering, where she was back doing her earlier comedy days.
That's another name here. Yolanda Adams. I had a chance to meet her at a conference, and matter of fact, it was in Nashville. What's the one that used to be in New Jersey all the time?
Who?
The music conference that was in New Jersey all the time. They had it in Nashville one year, and she performed and just tore the house down.
Oh, she's phenomenal. I've done a couple concerts with her. Gosh, that lady can sing. She can blow.
And I say,
I I did Hopeville with her and Kirk Franklin and Donnie McKirkland and Smokey Norfolk.
I see
And then,
CeCe Pennis's name on here. I know she has a lot of people probably don't know how amazing her voice was back in the day. I don't know what year it was, but I know she came in my store when one of her records was out, and she has a nice voice. Howard Hewitt, Akron, Ohio, in the building.
yes, yes, good guy, good guy. Good to work with.
I had dinner at his sister's house. His sister's daughter, which is his niece. I did 2 records on her about 2013. She's 2 different names. I'm the one suggested that she use 2 different names. She used Tiffany Bino for gospel, and she used Tanae Williams, which is what the same name she had when she was back on Columbia Records or whatever back in the day. And she had 2 #1 records at the same time with 2 different names, and that was an idea that I gave her and her husband.
Well, he has 2 other nieces that back in the day they were doing gospel mime, the mime where you don't sing, you just do the movements to the music in churches. He has two beautiful nieces by his sister.
And the one I'm talking about,
Adele.
she was one of his background singers for years too, so she might be one of the ones that you're talking about.
Yeah,
but she can really sing though. She can sing like Whitney Houston type stuff.
Well, that whole family can sing. He actually, Howard has an older brother. I can't remember his name, but he better than Howard. I know Howard would be mad if he heard me say this, but it's the truth. His older brother sound better than Howard, and Howard can sing. Yeah.
I see Shaka Khan, amazing lady. Had dinner with her one time when she was on Warner Brothers. So somebody sent me a post earlier about where Shaka Khan allegedly said that Mary J. Blige messed up her song or something.
Wow.
Ray Parker Jr., we met him up at that same doing the same R&B Hall of Fame thing in Detroit. I took a picture with him in the nightclub, Michael Calhoun and myself.
Ray Parker was doing music when he was in high school in Detroit. Yeah. I think he went to McKenzie High, and he was doing studio sessions, playing guitar and stuff for a lot of different singers, and in a lot of different recording sessions. Him and Michael Henderson both. Actually, they were best of friends throughout their entire career. Michael, and a lot of people don't know, Michael Henderson was a phenomenal bass player, could play the hell out of a bass, but he never, once he started writing songs and singing, he kind of left the whole bass thing alone, because he started out playing. He went on tour while he was in high school with Stevie Wonder at the age of 16, 17 years old.
I use a story about Ray Parker that I think, if I'm not mistaken, I remember reading this, that he had gotten like a $100,000 advance back then from a record label, and for his recording. And he recorded himself at his own house and only invested $10,000 into it or whatever. So he had the $90,000 was absolute profit for him because of the budget.
Ray Parker been making money since high school. He was probably making about $1,500 a week when he was in high school playing guitar. He was that popular and that good in high school. So Ray been making a lot of money for a long time. Then when he came out with Ghostbusters, that just took him over the moon.
Yeah, I'm gonna just mention a couple more names before I let Paul and everybody drop some names. But I just see like of course, Sister Sledge, Rick James. Rick James' nephew used to live across the street from my record store. Kirk Franklin, I got a plaque for his album that he did that they had that big hit on that went double platinum. Vicki Winans is one of the smartest artists I ever did promotions with. She was an expert at venue sales.
And she was married to Marvin Winans. Yeah. But she's not really a whining, other than being married into the
right. I know what you're saying. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But very, very, very great person.
Right. And the last person I'm gonna mention is AJ Jamal, comedian from Cleveland, Ohio.
That's my boy.
I had met him at the Essence Festival. Well, I know him from Cleveland, but he got me into the Essence Festival in New Orleans. He was the host 2 years in a row back in the day.
Now,
At
he
least
used
the
to
one
open
year.
up for Diana Ross on her tour as a comedian. And also some of the touring, he opened up for Temptations.
Okay.
Him and Tommy Davidson used
Okay.
to open.
So I'm gonna go to the Funky Skunk first because he raised his hand first, and of course I'm
Go
going to
ahead.
John and then Michael Calhoun. But go ahead, Funky Skunk. What you got to say?
Sir, first off, man, I just want to say I'm honored to be on this call with you. Man, I wanted to chime in a couple of things that y'all had talked about in the past.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in talking with Kermit, I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana.
Oh, okay.
I come from the '70s too. I grew up. Me and Kenny Edmonds and Reggie Griffin, Rayford Griffin, and all of us came out or from here. But I wanted to ask two things. One was did you know Al Heyman? And
that's what I was saying. I promoted some shows for him,
and that name came into mind when you said about your amazing and legendary career as a concert promoter and producer and all of that. And I have several relatives from Detroit, and my mom's all of the Temptations and the Four Tops, and all of us used to come and my mom's house when they would perform at the Coliseum here and different places here and have a big oxtail stew dinner and party, at our house in the basement. And one of the things that you had mentioned about legendary female vocalist you spoke about,
Phyllis Hyman or
Phyllis Hyman, yeah. Well, I had a comparative story about one of those parties that my mom had after party. My uncle were Cannonball and Nat Adderley.
Oh yeah,
they came and performed in Indianapolis at the Coliseum and with Nancy Wilson.
Okay.
And, the night after the show, they came all over to my mom's house. It was late at night and all that. And my little brother, who was a baby at the time, it woke him up and he was crying. Nancy Wilson, yes, amazing, Phyllis Hyman.
Yeah, that's Phyllis right there.
Nancy Wilson asked could she hold him and try to get him to stop crying. And she held him in her arms and she sung, I don't know, do you remember Stevie Wonder, And If You Really Love Me?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It started off real slow.
Mm-hmm.
He sung that a cappella to my little brother and he just passed out, right? But the whole room, you could hear a pin drop. Everybody was just quiet, but it was Nancy Wilson singing, right in front of my face. I'll get that. One of those moments.
You really love me.
Man, it's an honor to talk. I just wanted to say, you have an amazing legendary career, my brother.
Well, thank you, my brother.
I stories with you all night, but
I got so much history, brother. So much history.
Steve Arrington, in 2011 when he came back for about a year. Yeah, and I meant to mention that also back when you talked about Steve when he came back on Stone Throw Records.
Now, did you know how Steve? Because Steve wasn't an original member of Slade. He came later as the drummer.
Right.
And how he became the lead, because when he came in, he wasn't the singer. He was just the drummer. One of the lead singer was late for rehearsal at the studio.
Absolutely.
And they asked Steve to just fill in, try to sing the song so that we can go through rehearsal since he's not here. And when they heard Steve sing in the style that he sung in, because he had a unique voice in the way that he sung, they said, well, hell, we need to put you out front. And that's how he became doing lead for Slave.
Let me tell you a Steve story. When I worked with Confunctions since '78, also by the way, Confunctions from Vallejo, California. We were getting ready to do a show at right by the riverfront. It was this like concrete stage outdoors. It was a festival. It was huge. Matter of fact, anyway, Mike
Mike
Cooper.
Cooper. Mm-hmm.
They didn't have a ride. They had already came over in the van, the transport van from the hotel. And I came there in a limo from Indianapolis because it was Indianapolis right down the street, right?
Oh, dang,
So
you was rolling like that.
I came there with a limo, and I was already at the gig. So I said, "We'll go get Mike." Okay. So I take the limo over there to get him, and I put Steve Arrington's "Holler." Have you ever heard "Holler"?
On his album?
Gospel song that he did, "Holler." Anyway.
I probably have, because I have some stuff of Steve's that has never been released that he was
I had
working
it on the CD. I had it on the CD. This fresh hot off the press. I'm Steve Arrington's manager. Okay, but when Mike got in the car, I just put on and started playing, and all of a sudden, Mike's face frowned up, and he said, "Is that Steve Arrington?" And I was like, "Yeah," and he was like, nobody. He said, nobody sounds like Steve Arrington. He said, man, as soon as I heard it, I'm like, what is this brand new? I said, yeah, man, it's hot off the press. And he was just, it was a moment.
Yeah, Steve is a unique voice. He really does. It's amazing on the way that he sings, because
he's
it's
an amazing musician.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah,
his singing and his drum playing and his writing, it's all like it's all a part of the instrument.
That's Steve.
That's my man.
His
brother, it's an honor to meet you.
Likewise.
I'm doing a cartoon that's a character that I created called the Funky Skunk. Welcome to Skunkville. And I want to put it out on the road on some shows and stuff. So if I could get Kermit to forward you some of the stuff,
and get Kermit to pass my phone number and email address to you as well. I might be working on this national play this summer in June. Diary of a Black Man, How to Love a Black Woman. And it's going to kick off. I'm just might be the promoter of it. The producer and director of it is asking me to be the promoter of it, but it's going to kick off in Wilmington, North Carolina, around, I think, June 26th or 27th. So we can talk. I just have to see where I'm going to be with that tour.
Yes, sir.
To see if I can help you in what you're trying to do.
All right. One last thing I wanted to mention. I almost forgot Ronnie Laws.
Ronnie.
We performed with Ronnie Laws back in like '78. We at a place called Dooley's in Michigan. It was in Lansing, but Nate and all them, Bruce Pleasure, they were his backup band, and so we all be really good friends because we played there a couple of times. And a lot of people don't know that Ronnie Laws was the original saxophone player for Earth,
Wind and Fire. Correct.
Absolutely. That's my man. He's an amazing musician also as well.
A lot of people don't know he's Jehovah's Witness either. Did you know that?
Yeah, I knew that. And then a lot of musicians, you mentioned Switch. Philip
Ingram, correct. Yeah.
Jackson's,
And then Bobby DeBarge was with Switch as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just talked to Greg. We're going to do a show together.
Greg from Switch.
Yeah, Greg Williams.
Yeah.
I've known those guys, and Howard, all from Akron, and the DeBarge is from Michigan, but the main part of Switch is from Akron.
Well, I actually worked with Switch in '81 in LA at Polaris Sound Studio. Remember, Motown moved out to Los Angeles.
Yeah,
and I got a job working as an engineer underneath Mr. Horn, who was the chief engineer for Motown. Louis not Lewis, but Lawrence Horn is his name. He was the chief engineer. So we were working.
Here to the
Yeah,
First
we were
Interstate
working
building.
on. Huh?
I used to come to the first building, the First Interstate building, the offices they had right there in Hollywood back in 81, 82.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I used to come there all the time.
Yeah. So yeah, I worked on that Switch 5 album, but I didn't get credits. It was, Lawrence Horn, who's the chief engineer. He was teaching me how to engineer back in 81.
Man, you've had an amazing life, an amazing career, man. I'm honored to meet you, my brother.
Well, it's an honor meeting you, brother. We all come from that old school era of music and the history of it, and we're
Midwest.
If we don't talk about it and share it in avenues like this with Kermit's show, then people don't know the history, and we're dying off to where the history will just fade on out. And we need to continue to have more shows like this. And
I have an independent network that I've been having together for a minute. I'm doing mainly like documentaries and different things like what we're doing here, talk shows and stuff that's talking about the history of the culture.
Right.
Right. If we don't we were already ripped off for a lot of it, so we might as well try to bring it back in and let it be known where they got it from, and so they never get there.
Because going back to Ronnie Law's career and how great of a saxophone player he is, a lot of people don't know Kenny G had opened for Ronnie Law's when Kenny G was first coming out. But we don't get the credit for the talent that we have as singers, musicians, but they come along and copy our music, and then they go on to become, a bigger name as far as the industry is concerned, but they're not a bigger name because they don't have the talent that a Ronnie Laws have, or the singing ability like a Whitney and the band like a Earth, Wind and Fire.
Did you ever get the chance to hear or see my uncle Cannonball play soprano saxophone?
No, I didn't.
Okay, Cannonball Adderley. He
oh yeah, I know who he is.
He's played a lot of alto, but he's amazing on the soprano saxophone also as well. But Uncle Cannonball's the one that got Wes Montgomery his first recording contract.
Wow.
Wow. Well, listen, man, I don't want to hold up the panel. I know everybody wants to get a chance to chat with you, man.
Yeah.
I'll send you my stuff through Kermit, and I'll be blessed just to hear what you think about it. I got a lot.
Oh, for sure. Now one thing about me, I will give it to you straight. I don't sugarcoat. I tell you straight what I hear and what I don't like or how good it is. I'll be straight honest with you.
That's exactly what I want, sir.
Okay.
All right. God bless you, man. And
same here, brother. I look forward to talking to you in the future.
Thank you so much, Paul. This call is about networking. It's about what we're doing. Old school legends that people don't know about, don't know the history. We're trying to give them the history before we get out of here. So that's what we do. And up next, we got our two R&B Hall of Famers and people associated with the Hall of Fame, and our two Grammy winners on here. I'm gonna go to John Wilson first, and then Michael Calhoun if he's up to it, because like I say, he had a bad taco that messed him up, and he may be able to say something later or not. But go ahead, John.
Hey, John. Is he on there yet?
He was on here. Let me see if he had texted me or something. Let's see. Anyway, Michael, you there? Calhoun?
No, I don't hear him.
I don't see Michael either. Okay, Queen Karen, anybody have any questions right quick?
No, I'm just enjoying all of it, because he brings things up to date, and a lot of the artists, I think some people or groups probably, a lot of people aren't familiar with that he's meant that I don't want to keep saying that Tyrone is mentioning and everybody's listening that they need to do their due diligence and look them up because they're big boys in their league,
Yeah.
and a lot
I
that
mean,
he's
we like I said, we need to, keep the history alive and learn where a lot of it not necessarily originated from, but these that we talked about and I talked about, that I had the experience and the opportunity to know these people personally and have some history and stuff that I know that I can't even share with the public. But the good things I have no problem sharing, so that public knows how great a lot of these singers and musicians are, and the ones that are still here, we need to give them their praises and their honors while they're still here. I was talking to Shirley Jones from the Jones Girls, who I'm managing now, and she was saying to me, uh, they've never given the Jones Girls an award. So I'm gonna work on uh, finding out who and what award category I can get, so that she can get her due diligence while she's still alive. Because that's what she said. She said, I don't want to wait till I'm gone and everybody start talking like they're doing with Angie Stone, because her and Angie were good friends and they lived not far from each other there outside of Atlanta. So they talked on a regular basis. And so we got to give the people, at least our people, what we deserve to have as awards and acknowledgement before they leave us.
Okay, I see we have a young musician on here, younger than us anyway, Chad Gridley out of Orlando, Florida. Go ahead, Chad.
Thanks, Kermit. How you guys doing?
Great.
Hi, Tyrone. Nice to meet you. Really impressive. Much respect to you. I really like where you're coming from, representing, a lot of great genres. I
Okay.
myself come from mostly a jazz background from Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh, great.
Came up as mostly a jazz saxophonist, woodwind player, but also, so like seeing how you represent jazz and R&B and soul and funk and kind of a lot of
Gospel.
gospel, yeah, kind of a lot of different genres. I
Mm-hmm.
myself find myself like a crossover artist as well, and soul and trying to get into like hip hop as well, but also with my jazz roots. So just kind of wondering what kind of advice you can give to artists who like to kind of weave between different genres and like stay true to their roots, but also explore into different musical styles and kind of mix it up a little bit. You know what I mean?
Well, to answer or give you some advice, I'm going to go back to information that I got from Michael Henderson that he got from Miles Davis. Michael Henderson was one of the first, not first, but one of the younger musicians that got the opportunity to play as one of Miles Davis' band members. And during that era of jazz, when Miles Davis was living and he was doing his jazz, he did that fusion jazz that jazz lovers and jazz critics had no idea what it was. Miles created his own sound and his own way of playing the horn. He didn't care what everybody else thought. What you have to do is be creative with your instrument the way that you want to create sound and play it the way you want to play it, regardless of what everybody else may think or don't like about how you play. Now, in the beginning, the critics thought Miles was crazy. They thought the way he was playing that type of jazz, wasn't the traditional jazz. They was like, oh, what is he playing? What is he doing? Playing the horn with his back to the audience throughout his performance. Nobody had done that before. They thought it was disrespectful and so forth. But what he was giving the audience was something that they could feel and relate to. But with him playing with his back to the audience, he was being a conductor and composer to the rest of the musicians so that they could create that sound that the audience was getting, that they eventually enjoyed and appreciated. And the critics now look at him as one of the greatest jazz musicians in history. So be you. That's the best advice I can give you. Be you. Don't worry about what everybody else thinks.
Yeah, thank you. That makes sense. Yeah, Miles, I think, is a great example of someone who evolved throughout his career and just kind of, he's such a great innovator because, he wasn't afraid to just explore and, go wherever his imagination took him.
That's
and
right.
Even going through, bebop early on with Charlie Parker, and then going into cool jazz and then into the fusion. And yeah, you're right. That's a great example.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to go to John Wilson. I see Zoom user has their hand up. I need them to put their name in the chat or something so I can know who that is. So just say Zoom user. And normally we don't even let them people on the Zoom call. But I know it's probably somebody we know. But go ahead, John, until Zoom user identifies themselves by putting a name in the chat.
Hey, Tyrone, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good, brother. You still look the same. You ain't changed a bit, brother. Good to see you, man.
Oh, man, good to see you too. I'm sorry I had to jump on. I had a quick call I had to take, man. Great.
Yeah,
You look great, my brother.
Man, you the great, legendary Sly Slick and the Wicked, brother.
Thank you, my brother.
Man, I'm so glad that we're still here to have this interview. So good to see you, brother. I swear, it's a good feeling.
Same here, my brother, man.
Yeah.
And I'm listening to you. I'm so proud of you and what you've done, man. And look forward to doing some more shows with you.
Well, you know what? We do need to get together. It's been a while. I think when we connected was at the Jackie Wilson Walk of Fame, the star on the Walk of Fame there in Hollywood.
Right.
And then I remember I think our last conversation, I was at a concert and they were hollering, oh, they got Sly Slick and the Wicked. And I was like, well, damn, I didn't know John was here at the concert. And I called you from the concert.
Right.
And you was like, nah, that's them other cats. And the thing is, that's why we're having these type of conversations, because people need to know the real Sly Slick and the Wicked.
Right.
Not somebody imitating and trying to do what you created and what you do.
Right. I appreciate it. And I've lobbied in the House of Representatives, about that, and to stop these fake groups, man. And it's like, some people say, well, John, isn't that, flattery? And all I say, well, how would you like to go to work all week and somebody else pick up your paycheck on Friday?
There you go.
And so, hey, we're out here still doing, next week, man, we celebrate 55 years of being together.
Wow. Amazing.
And, still blessed, to be able to work and draw a crowd. And, like I say, looking forward to doing something with you, man, I'm so glad this interview, because sometimes you get so wrapped up and you got so much on your plate and you just lose focus and contact with folk. I think, and we'll talk about it, is I'm currently managing Lloyd G. Williams that did Shout and Shamalama Ding Dong from the movie Animal House. Right.
I think putting you two together and creating a show and maybe adding maybe one other person and hitting that particular old school audience, I think we might have a good show and a good package that we could do if we can find like one other person to add to it. What do you think?
Oh, that sounds great, man. You know, we can put our heads together. I'll just put my number in the chat right there.
I got your number unless you done changed it over the last couple of years. You ain't gotta put your number here, brother. I ain't gonna lose your number.
I'm still here, you know, and earlier you're paying homage to the great, promoters. You know, we work for the Bowen Agency, Ruth, Change, and then Quentin Perry, Alan Heyman, Louis Gray, Helen Greer, Helen White, and they don't talk about the legendary promoters, and and yourself, you're legendary now.
And the booking agents, look at Walt. Well, let me make sure I say the right one. Noby Walters.
Noby Walters. Absolutely.
Agency going way back.
Right. We did a couple of gigs with them, and in fact, coming there, I don't know if you ever knew this, when we signed with Paramount, the first gig we ever did, a tour we did, was us and the Watts 103rd Street Rhythm Band, and the first place we ever played was the Casino Royal in Wyoming and Finkel. We sold out 7 days there.
What?
Right. We sold out 7 nights there. And then our next tour was us and Ohio Players. And our first gig was the Casino Royal. And then I think we went to the Mozambique and the High Chaparral. So,
oh, wow. Mozambique. That's that goes back, man, on Finkel.
Right.
That was the street it was on in Detroit.
Because Casino Royal was on Wyoming and Finkel, I think, if I remember right.
Which one?
The Casino Royal was on Wyoming and Finkel.
Wyoming. Yeah.
Right. It was on Wyoming and Finkel. And, there was so many great groups.
I grew up right in that area, John. I didn't live too far from Wyoming. I was on a street. I grew up on Hartwell, which was only about a couple miles from Wyoming.
Well, David Ruffin saved my life in that club one night.
No.
Oh, yeah, we were again, the first gig we were doing with the Watts 103rd Street Rhythm Band, and they were on stage. You remember the club was made like a V,
right?
The balcony, right?
The balcony up,
and the dressing rooms right there in the back. So I came out, and there was 3 girls sitting there, and they said, "Oh, Sly, sit down," right? So I sat down, right. Have a drink. I said, "Well, I don't drink. I'll take a Coke," right? So David Ruffin was leaning against the bar, and he raised his glass like good show. Right? All of a sudden, this guy, man, was standing behind me, and he says, "So this is the guy that you've been messing with." All right. And so I said, "Man, I don't know her, man." And so David came over and said, "No, man, this is Sly, Slick and Wicked, man." He said, "David," he said, "if he don't come out on this next show, I'm going to take him out and her out and you out." And Dave said, "Well, I'm packing too, right?" So I ran back in the dressing room. And I said, Charles and Terry said, "Man, what's going on?" I said, "Man, I just got 30, man. I can't wait till the second
get out of here.
Man, so as soon as I came out, they said, "Sly, Slick and Wicked." We came back out. I looked over there. David looked at me. The guy took the girl by the arm, took her, out. David raised his glass to me, shook his head like this, and left. That's my Casino Royal story.
Wow. Detroit was dangerous like that, but it's all part of growing up in Detroit.
Absolutely.
And, you could expect anything to happen.
And my jazz thing is that remember the Cool Jazz Festivals of Georgia?
Oh yeah.
We saw on our itinerary that we was coming back to Kansas City, and I said, "Okay, wait a minute, we just left Kansas City at the Kemper." I think that package was us, the OJs, the Dramatics, and Newburgh, right? And so I found out it was our first jazz festival, and so we're at the Kansas City Royal Stadium. I walked in the dressing room. I saw Newburgh and Ohio with Isley Brothers. We did too many gigs, but I'm standing in front of the great Count Basie. because on the jazz side, it was Count Basie,
yes,
Cannonball Adderley, Freddie Hubbard, and Bob Humphrey. You know, and man, I was there, 80,000 people, man, and sold out. And that was my first one. But working with the jazz artists, man, I'll never forget that, man.
Well, I'm a little younger. I'm 68 now. And my first jazz concert, I think I was 17 or 18. And I won a pair of tickets from the radio station. Me and my girlfriend at the time, we went to the concert together. Sarah Vaughan, George Benson, Roy Ayers, and Grover Washington Jr. on the same show. And it was my very first jazz concert. Wow. Man, and out of that lineup, I'm run it back again. Sarah Vaughan, George Benson, Roy Ayers, and Grover Washington. Grover had Mr. Magic out. He was the headliner. Roy Ayers had, I think he had You Send Me out during that time, and probably Everybody Loves the Sunshine. No, they were on two different albums. Then George Benson had Bad Benson. That was before he started singing, before he did on Broadway. He had Bad Benson. Sarah Vaughan, I don't remember what her song was. But out of that lineup, who you think told the show up? Between George Benson, Sarah Vaughan, Roy Ayers, and
Sarah Vaughan?
No.
Who?
Roy Ayers.
Okay, wait a minute. Well, here's right quick. I know.
Roy.
Here's a Cleveland story. Right now, if you go on YouTube and you'll see it says Calvin Brown, a tribute to Calvin Brown, Shrump guitar. Calvin's from Cleveland, Ohio. And Calvin's, he's out here in Riverside now, but he's very unsung. He was really Roy Ayers' sound on that guitar. Born and raised, I know Calvin since he was 12 years old.
Wow.
Right, absolutely. But yeah, man, let's do something.
Yeah, I'm all down. We got to really talk and put it together, because I know a lot of times we say that and then we get off into something else and we lose the focus and the energy to actually put it together. But I'm all down for it. And so let's just I got a show this weekend, and I got another one the following weekend in New York. When I get back on the 23rd. So anytime after that, we should call one or the other. You call me or I call you, and let's start talking and put our head together and come up with something.
Okay, you say let's, I'll say go.
All right, let's go.
Love you much, brother. Always.
Same here. Always, my brother.
All right, we got the amazing First Lady of the Turntables, DJ Silky D, who gave us an amazing interview. Go ahead, DJ Silky D.
That's oh Lord. Hey Silky. I can't hear. We can't hear her voice. I can't hear her.
She's on mute.
Okay.
She had to unmute her phone.
Come on, Silky. She's probably mad at me.
She's trying to unmute.
Yeah, we can't
hear
hear
your phone. It's the bottom right corner. You're on your phone, bottom right corner. You're on your laptop, is bottom left corner.
Left corner. Microphone. You see a microphone, Silky?
I had to come out and come back.
Yeah, that's my girl there, Silky D.
Yeah. When I went to your Instagram page, I see that y'all was following each other.
Oh no, I mean we talk.
Okay, there we go. I'm sorry. You know how these phones be doing when you're doing the touch. I apologize, everybody. Salute, respect, everyone.
What Tyrone. Up, girl? I know. Look at her point.
I'm saying congratulations to you, of course. With all the history that you talked about, are you considering writing a book or doing a master class?
I have been suggested by numerous people about writing a book. It's never been something that I was really concerned about doing. I even had a particular guy, white guy, said he would, what is it, when they coach you through?
Oh, right, ghostwriter.
Ghostwriter, that's what it was. But I ain't gonna have, it's got to be a brother or sister when they come to that. But it's a thought, but I'm not really that interested in doing it. You could probably convince me, but I'm not sure.
I am going to do that.
Because I know you got one coming up, right?
Right. With that said,
okay.
What do you think about the, well, I should say, do you feel the industry today have eliminated a lot of promoters like yourself?
Well, by far. I mean, when I came in, the promoters that I met and knew in the beginning of my career, they had 20, 30 years on me. I was just a young 20-some-year-old coming in the industry, but they took me under their wing. See, that's what was important, that they had an alliance in a way that they worked together. It wasn't this separate type thing that they got going on now. Everybody's for themselves. Nobody wants to work together. But we had a certain way that we did work together. We respected each other. If I was in or wanted to come to their city, I would call them first.
Right.
Just like you did with me. You see what I'm saying? Because we from that old school,
Well, with that, yeah, not to cut you off, because I know I have to go. I've been on here long, but I have to get on another call. Third but last, after I've heard Sly and a couple of our legends that are on here, and I'm standing in front of you guys, I do want you to help promote the festival that I have lined up in September or October. So I do want you to call me when you get back. I know you're going to New York because this festival is going to be, Sly, just to let you know, it's going to be a cultural festival, which we're going to include blues, jazz, funk, just all the genres, cultures of our music, starting with you guys because you're still living. And that is in plan as well as a budget. And I let everybody know that I'm working with this man right here. When he gets back, you better call me.
Who? You better call Tyrone? That's the one you talking?
Yeah, you better call Tyrone. Okay, Tyrone? Ty and I talk all the time, you guys. So we definitely
I'll give you my word, Silky. I will call you when I get back or before I even go. You know me. So
yeah, and I apologize. I haven't gotten in touch with you. I lost my father last week, so I've been
dealing with a lot.
And I know I was supposed to call you, but
God bless.
Glad to catch you right now. So
well, God bless your father, and
thank you.
I know that feeling losing my mom 2 years ago. So
okay, yeah. Exactly. But I love you guys. Respect.
All right.
Always, and we got to have that book or that masterclass because we need, I mean, we're back at this time where we are coming back to stick together and claiming, claiming what's ours and ownership and making this happen as far as any business that we do in this entertainment game.
Yes.
So this is the time, and you have the jewels to pass that knowledge on to the ones that are here now that they're not really making it. They're losing their shirts. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, that would be a great thing for you to do. I appreciate you. I love you.
Love you too, sweetie.
All right, Sly. I see you. Kermit and all, you guys all have a blessed evening. Peace.
All right, you too.
Did you and Sly ever hook up like y'all was supposed to?
We did. A lot of things happened during that time. I'm still doing the fire victims. Dr. Dre bought 50 homes, so you guys know he bought 50 rooms at the casino in Compton. And our team, Hip Hop for Peace, and a lot of other groups have been providing the clothing, gas cards, and food on a weekly basis. So I'm still doing that, and my community activism. And we do have a lot of things planned for Black Music Month. We're doing the Hip Hop for Peace, talking about gun violence at the Grammy Academy in the first week of June, which right now, I had Battle Cat to speak, but now I'm going after David, which some of you may know, DJ Quick, to be a speaker.
Oh, I know.
And then we're going to have, hopefully he gets back at me and he's not on tour. The other thing is we are planning a concert later on that evening at the Grammy Academy.
Okay, real quick.
Yes, sir.
In New York, I'm going to be at the Apollo Theater.
Yes.
D-Nice is going to be there. Rakim, Chase.
Yeah, we already got Rakim. Yeah, Chuck D. Yeah,
okay.
Chuck D.
Deborah
Oh, well, you know what?
Tracy
Let me know about
Spencer.
De La Soul. That would be great.
Talk to him?
Yes, for De La Soul.
I'll see if I can get his number. Well, the tall one,
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. I met him once, but I'm gonna see if I can get a up-to-date number.
Okay. Yeah, but I got most of I'm hip hop. Yeah.
And Lisa is gonna be there too. And
good. Tell her I said hello. That's my girl. Tell her I said hello. All right. Yeah, that's what's up. Her and Debbie Deb. I know them both.
No, this is Deborah Cox is gonna be there, not Debbie Deb. Deborah Cox. Yeah.
No, what I'm saying is I know Lisa and Debbie Deb because usually we have them perform together when they're down here in LA.
Right. That's that old school.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, be safe, enjoy, and everyone have a blessed evening.
All right, hon.
Thank you for your participation. DJ Silky D, always a pleasure.
Same here, Carmen.
Okay. I want to shout out to some other people that's on here that really didn't say anything, like DJ Chill, who is an amazing DJ on the app called Clubhouse. And he played a lot of the artists' music on there. They have 4 shows a week, Monday and Wednesday at 8:00 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 on the West Coast, of course, and Friday and Saturday at 10 p.m. on the East Coast and 7 p.m. on the West Coast. But they're like the hottest music thing that's on that app called Clubhouse.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, let me see who else is on here that I haven't mentioned. Give me a second here. Larizi on here. He's a Afrobeats artist from Nigeria. It's on here. I recognize him. Felicia DA64 is a female rapper out of Greenville, South Carolina, and a hairdresser. And she's singing now, doing Southern Soul as well. And Darrell P from Make Your Holiday Entertainment that's doing a lot of things out of Chicago. And Will Gamble, who actually, I'm surprised he hasn't said anything tonight because he has a lot of people in his family that's involved with the music industry that he always be sharing on the different calls of different people that he knows, like old school like us, that's involved with the music industry out of Indianapolis. DJ Punch 317 on all platforms, has Mixaholic Mondays. And that's all the names that I recognize. And anybody else that has any question or want to say something, you can speak now or raise your hand and I'll call on you. If not, I'm going to let Tyrone get out of here.
Yes, I can go get something to eat.
Yep, me too. Okay. Anybody? John, any last words? I wouldn't mind saying something. Go ahead. Who's that?
It's Will. I've been here the whole time. I've been listening. Will Gamble here. I mean, Indianapolis, also stayed in Tampa for 7 years, came back to Indianapolis. But me personally, I would want to know when do you know when an artist is ready to be managed, and what is the keys to managing the artist?
Well, first of all, you want to get a good manager that's honest and trustworthy. There's good managers and there's shady managers. So if you're looking for a manager, the key is, can you trust him? Is he going to be honest with you? Is he going to share the things that he knows that's in your best interest as an artist, and not try to do backdoor deals and lie about, you know, things that relates to finances and money, because that's what happens with a lot of artists and managers. The money gets in the way of the actual business and relationship between the two. The way I deal with my artists is, what I know, you know, what you know, I should know. And we work as a team together to achieve whatever our goals are as manager and artist. So if you can't establish that type of relationship with someone that you want to consider as your manager, then you don't need to have a manager if you're not going to get a good manager. Other than that, as a solo, you can pretty much try to do what all you can do on your own and be safe.
You gave a perfect explanation, but another thing I know that we ask on other calls, this might be what he meant was, when do you know you need one? In other words, like, you know, when you know that you're ready to have a manager. Like we tell people all the time on these calls, just so you know, we tell our normal answer is something like, you know, when you have something to manage. So we want you to speak like on that side of it.
Yeah, well, what I find out from up and coming talent is that they don't invest in themselves. You have to invest in who you are, meaning you have to get your EPK put together, your bio put together, get your quality photos, so that the manager has something to work with. If you don't have anything to work with, it's not going to go anywhere. So you need to invest in you and what you need as far as promotional material, have a good song that is, you know, likable, that is going to go somewhere. Because other than that, you're putting a lot of money, time, and effort into something that ain't going nowhere. If I'm a promoter, I'm putting myself in the promoter position, and you want to come and do a show for me, I need to see what you got as far as video. I need to know what your show is like, because if I can't see a live performance, I'm not going to take the risk of paying you to come and perform. But if you send me a quality video of your performance and I see, oh, this guy is good, he's got a great show, then I'm interested in talking to you and negotiating a price that you can be comfortable with and I can be comfortable with. But you got to do that. Don't wait till you get a manager and expect the manager to pay for you a video, pay for you a quality pictures and all like that. You need to come ready.
That's what they think a manager is a lot of times, an investor for them.
Well, if you get an investor, that's some of the important things that you're going to need. You got to let the investor know, I'm trying to put together a professional EPK that's going to help sell my career. I get people that's been in the business for a long time, and I can't even get a quality picture to be able to promote them because they didn't invest in a quality picture. I get entertainers that didn't even bother to get a video of their performance. They just tell people, oh, I sing, I do this, I do that, and don't even have a quality video to show.
You know, see, that's what I know too. Yeah. But the money stuff with the artists, like I help a lot of artists, I consult with them. But I know about metadata. I know about, you know, registering your music the right way, make sure you get all your money back. I know about 7 to 8 different checks. I know a lot of different things. I learned from two of my mentors, Zaysky Alizé. He learned from Kevin Black. He, you know, taught him. He taught, and then Zaysky taught me. He taught him, and then my other mentor is Don Juan from The Dark Child, and he was mentored by Ronnie Jerkins. Ever since he was 15, he's 45 now. So I got a lot of knowledge about the game. People don't see, because I ain't in a mansion, everybody want to take it serious, but I got more knowledge than 99% of people out here about this music game. I learned from some of the best. But people don't want to learn. They don't want to listen. A lot of artists, they don't want to listen, you know.
Right. They want to tell you how they want to do things. And if you've had more experience to them, then you know what is basically going to work and what's not going to work from experience. So when I get artists that want to tell me more than what they don't know, then I'm I back off because I'm not going to compete with my own artists. I'm not going to have an argument with you, and I'm trying to help you. I want to be there to help you advance from where you are when I met you to where you're trying to get to. But if you think you know more than I know, then why you need me?
Why he needs you in the first place? Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? Go on and do you. Don't waste my time trying to structure a plan for your future and doing it the right way, but you don't want to do it the right because you want to get out there now, today. You don't even want to wait and get a quality photo shoot. You don't want to wait and get a good show that we can have it videotape and get the quality and be able to use that for you to move forward.
Right.
I want to throw another form of that
King.
question out.
Much love.
Yeah. I want to throw another form of that question out there, but I also want to recognize some people that I missed, like a Sincere, the PPE, and Deborah McFarland and Sheila Johnson as well that's on here tonight. I don't know where they're from.
Deborah McFarland, that's my cousin in
Okay.
Detroit.
Well, that's great. And but the other part of that question I wanted to add was that, okay, if you see somebody that you like a Michael Jackson, like you go to a show and like, wait a minute, this is like the next Michael Jackson or Prince or whatever, but they have no money, no nothing. Do you just let them go because they're not bringing money to the table or they don't have stuff ready? What do you do when you see, not you know, I'm not going to say a Michael Jackson or Prince, but just a good talent that you feel that you really could do something with, but there's no money there?
Well, then you got to put together a proposal. You got to put together a business plan and proposal that's going to entail the money needed in order for you to get the things necessary, like the video, or to put on some promo shows in order to get the person out there. And that may entail investors, because if you don't have the funds as an artist, then we got to get the funds from somewhere. You see what I'm saying? So you got to be able to look at what you think you have that's going to sell and that's going to be something that investors would invest in. Because now you're asking for money to back you and they're not 100% sure if they're going to get that back in return. So whatever it is, you got to show a quality and something that they can see. Like if it's going to take 6 months to get it back, what are you doing in those 6 months as far as performing, selling merchandise, doing things that's going to generate the revenue back for the investor if they invest in you? You got to get it from somewhere, you know, and I don't mean going out in the street selling drugs to get it, but you got to go legit and find investors, but you got to put a package together, a business package. Investors, they don't, you know, they look for that. You know, if it looks good and they can see the potential of it, then they'll invest.
All right, sounds great. If nobody else has anything, we're going to let you get out of here. I look at John Wilson as my minister. So, Minister, you have any last words or last prayer for us today?
I mean, well, it's so great to see Tyrone, and I mean, he's a great, great brother. And, the young promoters here that's trying to be a promoter, this is a great man to learn from, and I'm glad to see you, brother. I really am.
I am too, man. It just seems like now I got to come out there to Cali, just so we can hang out.
Well, you come on. You say lessons.
Let me get May and maybe I probably will try to anticipate sometime in April, because I got to see Silky D too. While I'm out there.
April 4th till the 12th, I'll be gone. I'll be in Tokyo, but I'll be back.
Okay.
I'll be back to 12.
Okay. Well, and that'll be better for me towards the later part, but I got a show in May 10th. So we'll juggle and figure, because the weekend ain't too bad if I got an open weekend, if you free on a weekend, because it ain't that far. I'm over here in Phoenix in this heat. So it ain't no thing. Come over there and get on the beach.
No, shoot on over, man. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, seriously, John, I'm not just talking. I'm really looking forward to us connecting again and seeing what we can do.
Serious. Same here, brother. I look forward to it, man.
All right.
Absolutely. Just you say less and I'll say go.
Let's do.
Let's go.
Let's do. All right. All right. Kermit, this has been a great pleasure. I didn't expect it to be as good as it is, especially when I found out John was going to be on here, and then I got a sneak surprise from Silky D, who I know and admire, and we talk periodically over years, and I've had one of my artists perform for one of her events in the past. So, this, I was totally surprised. So I appreciate this interview. I don't usually do hardly any interviews. Not that I think I'm all of that. I just don't, I'm just me.
Yeah,
so,
I don't like to either. But I got to shout out.
It's not like something that I'd be trying to, let me see what the next interview I can get or do and so forth. But the reason why I did it was because of New York Ken. DJ
That's what I
Ken.
get ready to say. Let's shout out to man, the legend, New York City Ken, and put everybody together. He the one that got Silky D for us too, and Johnny Britt as well.
Right.
So yeah, shout out to him. Thanks everybody for coming. Appreciate the support. As you know, we normally do every other Tuesday, but I'm not sure if we'll be doing it in 2 weeks from now. But if we do, it'll be on the link tree, and if it's not, then it won't be on the link tree. Link tree, ECMD number 2.
Yeah.
Thanks again.
I'll maybe talk to you about one of my artists that you can do an interview with.
That sounds great. Matter of fact, I saw something. I was asking that New York City Kids saying, I think it was like the Jones Girls or something.
Yeah, I'm managing the Jones Girls. So sure.
Yeah, because I like to do, I'll do like another group as well with them or whatever. But I like to do the old school stuff, the people that come around and stuff like that, the legends.
Yeah, okay. I like that too. Those are my favorite anyway, that I'm more, in tune with and connected with, is a lot of the old school artists. So yeah, not a problem. I'll see, we'll talk. You tell me what your open calendar dates are.
Okay,
and
I'll do that.
Off for her calendar. She's got to go to Germany and London in the summer. This summer. So if you can hit before she goes or after.
Well, I definitely get that to you right away, and appreciate you coming on, and appreciate all the support from everybody that came on here that had a chance to speak or didn't have a chance to speak.
Yeah.
So thanks again, and everybody have a blessed night. So Tyrone, get something to eat, so I can put something in my stomach as well.
Well, I'm going to get some pizza and wings. I had already planned on going to get some pizza and wings.
Okay.
All right, guys.
All right, everybody have a blessed night. Thanks for coming.
God bless
y'all. See you soon. Don't forget, we got Throwdown Thursday on Thursday, 8 o'clock Eastern time, and every single Monday, Mixaholic Mondays at 9 o'clock, the same link tree. Talk to you later, everybody. Good night. Have a blessed night.
Guys.
Sleep tight and let the bed bug bite.
All right.